I thought my husband was cheating on me. At least, that's what every sign pointed to. The late nights. The secret phone calls. The sudden password on his phone. And the worst part? The smell of another woman's perfume on his jacket. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago what I thought was happening, I would have said the same thing every betrayed wife says. My husband is having an affair. But I was wrong. What I discovered was so much worse. And it changed my life forever. It started on a Tuesday. Nothing special about that day. Just another ordinary morning in our quiet neighborhood outside Seattle. I woke up early, like always, to make coffee before work. My husband Daniel was still asleep, one arm thrown across the bed like he owned the world. For 10 years, that man had been my world. We met in college. Fell in love fast. Married at 26. Bought a small house with a white fence and a stubborn apple tree in the backyard. The kind of life people look at and say, they're perfect together. But perfect things have cracks. You just don't see them at first. That morning, Daniel's phone buzzed on the nightstand. I wasn't trying to snoop. At least, not yet. But the screen lit up with a message preview. Are you coming tonight? No name. Just a number. My stomach tightened. Daniel stirred beside me, groaned, and grabbed the phone quickly. Too quickly. Work, he muttered, already getting out of bed. I told myself not to overthink it. But once suspicion enters your mind, it spreads like poison. Over the next few weeks, the signs started stacking up. Daniel began working late. At first it was once a week. Then 3 times. Then almost every night. He started guarding his phone like it contained nuclear codes. Bathroom? Phone. Kitchen? Phone. Even the shower. Phone sitting on the sink where he could see it through the glass. Then came the passwords. One day I picked up his phone to check the time. Locked. Daniel had never locked his phone before. Not once in 10 years. When I asked him about it, he shrugged. Security update. Security update. Right. Then there was the perfume. It happened on a Friday night. Daniel came home late again. Around midnight. I was on the couch pretending to watch TV. When he leaned down to kiss my forehead, I smelled it. Soft. Sweet. Definitely not mine. A woman's perfume. My chest tightened so hard I thought I might pass out. Long day? I asked casually. Yeah, he sighed. Meetings. Meetings. Sure. I nodded and smiled like the good wife I was supposed to be. But inside? My heart was breaking. For the next few days, I watched him. Carefully. Quietly. I started noticing things I'd ignored before. The way he stepped outside to take calls. The way he angled his phone away when texting. The way he avoided eye contact sometimes. One night I woke up at 2 a.m. Daniel wasn't in bed. I walked downstairs. The living room light was on. He was sitting on the couch whispering into his phone. When he saw me, he jumped. Work emergency, he said quickly. but I saw it. The panic in his eyes. That's when I decided to follow him. Not my proudest moment. But if you've ever suspected your spouse of cheating, you know the feeling. The need to know. The following Wednesday, Daniel said he had another late meeting. He left around 6:30 p.m. 10 minutes later, I grabbed my keys and got in my car. My hands were shaking. I kept telling myself I was crazy. That I was overreacting. That I'd follow him to some boring office building and feel like an idiot. But Daniel didn't drive to the office. He drove downtown. To a part of the city filled with old brick buildings and dim streetlights. Then he parked outside a small apartment complex. My heart dropped into my stomach. I parked half a block away. And waited. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Finally, Daniel got out of the car and walked inside. No hesitation. Like he'd been there before. Many times. I sat in my car staring at the building, feeling like my world was collapsing. So this was it. 10 years of marriage, ending in some cheap apartment. I almost drove away. But something inside me forced me out of the car. I walked to the building. My legs felt numb. The hallway smelled like old carpet and takeout food. Daniel had gone to apartment 204. I stood outside the door, heart pounding so loud I thought the neighbors might hear it. I raised my hand to knock. Then the door opened. But it wasn't Daniel. It was a man. Older. Maybe mid-50s. Gray hair. Kind eyes. He looked surprised to see me. "Can I help you?" I froze. I'm looking for Daniel." The man's expression changed slightly. "Daniel's inside." Inside. My chest burned. "Who are you?" I asked. The man hesitated. Then he said something I'll never forget. "I'm his father." My brain stopped. "That's impossible," I said immediately. "Daniel's father died when he was 12. The man sighed. "Yes," he said quietly. "That's what Daniel believes." At that moment, Daniel stepped into the hallway. His face went completely pale. "Emily." I had never seen him look so terrified. "Explain," I said. Just one word. But it carried 10 years of trust behind it. Daniel looked between me and the older man. Then he closed his eyes. "I didn't want you to find out like this." My voice shook. "Find out what?" The older man spoke gently. "My name is Robert. I'm Daniel's biological father." My head spun. "What are you talking about?" Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "The man who raised me wasn't my real dad." Silence filled the hallway. Then the truth started pouring out. 2 months earlier, Daniel had taken one of those online DNA tests. Just for fun. Or so he thought. The results came back with a match. A parent-child match. But not with the man he thought was his father. Instead, it matched Robert. The man standing in front of me. Daniel had spent weeks trying to contact him. Trying to understand. Trying to process the fact that his entire childhood story was wrong. His mother had taken the secret to her grave. Robert had never even known Daniel existed. Until the DNA test connected them. "So you've been meeting him?" I asked quietly. Daniel nodded. "Trying to get to know him." "And you didn't tell me?" His eyes filled with guilt. I didn't know how. The truth hit me slowly. The late nights. The secret calls. The hidden messages. Not an affair. A father. A whole second life Daniel had just discovered. But then another question formed in my mind. What about the perfume? Daniel frowned. What perfume? I stepped closer. The one on your jacket. Robert suddenly laughed softly. Ah. Both Daniel and I looked at him. My wife, Robert said. She hugs everyone goodbye. And just like that, my cheating theory collapsed. I felt stupid. Relieved. Embarrassed. All at once. But the story didn't end there. Because discovering his real father changed Daniel in ways I didn't expect. At first it was exciting. They met for dinner. Talked for hours. Shared stories. Robert showed Daniel old photos. Family history. Things he had missed his entire life. I tried to be supportive. I really did. But something started shifting. Daniel became distant. Not secretive like before. Just distracted. Like his mind was somewhere else. One night I asked him directly. Are you okay? He hesitated. Then he said something that scared me. I don't know who I am anymore. Imagine discovering that half your identity is a lie. The man you thought was your father isn't. Your entire family history changes overnight. It shook Daniel deeply. And the more time he spent with Robert, the more questions appeared. Why had his mother hidden the truth? Was his childhood a lie? Did the man who raised him know? And the biggest question of all, did Robert want to be part of his life now? One evening Daniel came home looking shaken. What happened? I asked. He sat down heavily. Robert wants me to meet the rest of the family. His wife. My half-siblings. I smiled. That's good, right? Daniel stared at the floor. I don't know if I belong there. That's when I realized something. This wasn't just about finding a father. It was about losing the life he thought he had. The real turning point happened a week later. Daniel and I went to dinner with Robert and his family. His wife, Linda, was warm and welcoming. His two daughters were curious and friendly. Everyone acted like Daniel had always been part of the family. But I could see the conflict in Daniel's eyes. He laughed. He talked. But something inside him was breaking. On the drive home, he finally said it. I feel like a stranger in my own life. That night we stayed up until 3 a.m. talking. About identity. Family. Truth. And secrets. Daniel admitted something he had been afraid to say. I'm angry at my mom. He had spent years idolizing her. Now he didn't know what to believe. Grief mixed with betrayal. A complicated storm of emotions. But slowly, things began to heal. Months passed. Daniel built a relationship with Robert. Not perfect, but real. They went fishing together, watched baseball games, argued about politics. Normal father-son things. And I got to watch my husband slowly rebuild himself. Piece by piece. One evening we sat in the backyard under that stubborn apple tree. Daniel looked at me and smiled. You know what's crazy? What? If you hadn't followed me that night, you might still think I was cheating. I laughed. Don't remind me. He squeezed my hand. Thank you for staying. I looked at him. Always. Because sometimes, the truth isn't what destroys a marriage. Sometimes the truth is what saves it. And every once in a while, when Daniel comes home smelling like that same sweet perfume, we both laugh. Because now I know exactly where it came from. And this time, there are no secrets left.